Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
So we actually have a booklet, if anyone wants one, a service booklet. Alan Lone is right there, he has some. There are also boxes right over here in the corner. So if people need them, some will be brought around, or you can come. There's some boxes right over here in the corner. But again, this is our service booklet, and we're going to begin tonight on page 58. You won't need that page so much for us to begin. It's words that I'm sure a lot of you know. We're going to begin with Hine Matov. But again, if you have a book, it's page 58. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Raise your hand if you ever thought that you were going to be sitting with 200 of your closest friends in the Charlevoix amphitheater enjoying a Shabbat service. Anyone? Few of you knew this was going to happen years ago. What an incredible, incredible spot to bring in this time of peace, this time of serenity, this time of joy together. And just for a moment, everyone look around. I just want you to look around, not only at where you are, but who you're with. You might know some people here. You might not know people here. You might have met some people here this evening. But we have this incredible opportunity to be in this spot together, not only with a backdrop of this marina and this pure, pure blue sky, but with a group of people who are here for the same purpose of trying to figure out how we can bring a little bit extra serenity, a little bit extra comfort into our lives. So we are in Charlevoix, of course, and my wife and I came here from Traverse City. Anyone spend any time in Traverse City? I won't ask you to compare Charlevoix and Traverse City. I know people have their favorites, but very nice town in Traverse City. And if you've been there, there's a kind of a park area that's right along the lake. Right? There's this park right on the lake, a little foresty, there's a bunch of trees. So I was walking in there yesterday in this park in Traverse City, and there was a little boy walking around. And he was like wandering aimlessly, walking in circles. And I was watching him because I was fascinated. He had a baseball bat over his shoulder, and he had a baseball. He was kind of just walking around. He was maybe, I don't know, seven-year-old boy, just tossing this baseball up with a baseball bat. And I kind of heard him saying, "I am such a good baseball player. In fact, I'm a great baseball player." He's just saying this, walking around with this ball, throws the ball up. Ball's on the ground. He picks it up. Of course, this is a 7-year-old boy, big smile. He didn't seem to care. He keeps walking around, and I hear him saying, "I'm not just a great baseball player. I'm one of the best baseball players anybody's ever seen. I am so good, people can't believe how good a baseball player I am." And he throws the ball up again, picks the ball up, and now he has a little bit of concern in his face walking around with this ball, but I'm listening, and he says, "I am the greatest baseball player who's ever lived in the history of the world." And he's so serious and so excited, throwing this baseball around, and finally he throws it up nice and high again, takes his bat, and now he looks confused. As he's looking down, he just announced that he was the greatest baseball player in the history of the world, and there's the ball, and I hear him say, "Strike 3? I am the best pitcher who ever lived." And this little boy, I'm thinking, wow, what a great change of perspective. Greatest pitcher who ever lived. And it makes me realize in this spot that every one of us sometimes needs a little change in perspective. We need a little something that asks us to not just take what we're given, not just take the week that we've had, not just take wherever it is that we live or play or work, but we need something to push us to change our perspective a little bit. And for me at least, this Shabbat in Charlevoix, this Shabbat at this band shell is completely different. It's new. We haven't done it before. You were all here for the first time ever. When you show your grandkids your tickets, you can say you were at the first ever Shabbat in Charlevoix. But it's a different perspective, and if Shabbat is one thing, it's an opportunity for us to grow in a different way than we do the rest of the week, and to enter this space one way, and perhaps in about an hour to leave with a slightly different sense of who we are, what we can accomplish, and what this day can mean for us. So, on behalf of our clergy here from Temple Bethel, Cantor Rachel Komowitz, Rabbi Megan Brudney, we are also very happy tonight to be partnering with Temple B'nai Israel from Petoskey. Anyone raise your hand if you're here from Temple B'nai Israel in Petoskey? Or cheer, clap. So Temple B'nai Israel is a place that we've had a chance to go a couple times. wonderful little temple over in Petoskey, and they joined us for tonight, including their rabbi, Rav Maya Leibovich, who's here, right up there in the second row. Also, I'm not sure where he went, but Gus Paz, where are you? I believe, still the president? President of the temple in Petoskey, so thank you, Gus, for helping make this possible. It's great to bring our communities together. And as we do bring communities together, we open with the words of Hine Ma Tov. So I'd like to ask everyone to take just an extra moment to make sure that you turn to someone near you, introduce yourself if you don't know them, and wish them a special Shabbat Shalom. Although most of our prayers and songs will be in this booklet, the next one we're doing, the words can be found on the inside of our Shabbat guide. So if you got one of these guides on the way in, a little folded over piece of paper, on the inside you'll see the words on the left, Tulechu Neranena. This is from the Psalms and part of our special welcome for Shabbat. Again, the words are on the inside of the guide. We do hope that you'll join us. This is meant to be a participatory singing service that you get to be part of, so please join us. Page 5 for the words of Lecha Dodi.
La 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 la
At this moment in our Lechat Dodi, we rise, and when we're in a synagogue, we turn around. We look at the entrance of the room, because the entrance is the place that we hope the Sabbath bride will join us. But here we are in this park in Charlevoix, and we may have walked in over there, or over there, or over there. Any direction you look is an entrance to this space. So tonight I'd like to suggest that as we stand up together at this moment, that wherever you feel like you came from, whichever direction was your entrance, turn and face that spot. Perhaps look out on the horizon, find some place that you can look, and perhaps one of us this evening will be looking in that direction to catch a glimpse of this Sabbath bride as she joins us at this beautiful moment of Shabbat.
Found on page 9. On this Shabbat. So let's join together. Yalalai. Yalalai. page 15. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kavod Shem Kavod Malchuto Please be seated. We continue chanting V'ahavta on page 17. בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם בנפשך אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. So as we come to our Micha Mocha, this archetypal moment of encounter with God, of the Israelites in deep, deep despair, and God saving the day and saving us as a people and freeing us from slavery, letting us cross that Red Sea, I thought about an encounter with God I feel I had yesterday. I was in, some of you have seen my Facebook pictures, I was at this gigantic aviation extravaganza in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And so there were these amazing planes all over the place. There were the military planes, there were the small planes, the big small planes, the small planes, which is miracle enough, Dayenu, right? But I think a lot of people don't know there's this class of aircraft called the lightweights. And a lightweight airplane is something that you buy in a kit and assemble in your home, and then you fly it in the air. True story, you can buy one yourself if you feel like believing in God, which is my point exactly, that seeing all of these planes, like really the miracle of flight, like people can fly, that's incredible. But seeing that you can also buy a kit to assemble in your own home, no special tools required apparently, I mean maybe sort of special, but not like special, and then you can really fly it in the real air, like tens of thousands of feet above the ground. There must be God. Seriously, I mean it's funny, but seriously as well, there must be God. And so in that moment, I thought like, wow, we still have these moments of encounter. They might be a different level of encounter than we read about in our Micha Mocha, but they are true encounter, they are real encounter, they are our connection with the divine. So I ask you to take a moment as well to contemplate maybe a place you find God in the everyday, in a plane taking off, in a car going down the highway, maybe over Skype, talking with a loved one or a grandchild. Places you can find God every day. We sing our Micha Mocha, page 21, remembering that time we crossed the Red Sea, page 21.
Continue with Hashkivenu, page 23, asking for peace and harmony now in this world and when we lie down to bed at night. Safety and harmony on our lips. We rise for our tefillah, page 27.
La
We read together on page 38. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazer shchinato l'tzion. Continue silently. Healing of mind, of body, of spirit. So we turn to our Mishaberach on page 48. For a moment for you all to bring to mind anyone in your life that you're thinking of who's in need of healing before we start our prayer together.
So we had a prayer for peace, a prayer for healing, and at this central part of our service, we also have the opportunity for one more very special, joyful blessing. And so I'd like to invite up Brian and Emily Freund to please come up here. If you are from Charlevoix, you might recognize Brian and Emily because they run, I believe, a very, very important local establishment where some of you may have gotten crepes or ice cream or things like that. Is that right? So Brian and Emily got married a few months ago, I believe in October. Just got married. They're newlyweds. Brian's family has roots at Temple Beth El, which is way, I've now learned this term, downstate roots, but live up here, obviously. And so we wanted to take a quick opportunity to offer a special blessing on the occasion of their marriage. They are still, as I said, newlyweds, still early in the marriage, and blessings go a long way, and you've got many years ahead. So we want to take advantage of this moment. I also want to quickly mention that Brian and Emily are here tonight, joined by Brian's parents, Barry and Judy Freund, Brian's sister and brother-in-law, Amy and Kevin Goldman, and Emily's parents, Tom and Mary Anderson. So for your family, guessing, and over here, thank you. So it's nice to be surrounded by your family also. And again, you have come a long way together as a couple. You have gotten married now for what probably feels like a long time. I'll tell you, a lot of people here are going to tell you that's not a long time, since October. But blessings have already become part of your life, and blessings will continue to be part of your life. And so on behalf of your community, we want to say the words that we say at Jewish weddings. That's our ancient way of saying that we hope and pray that everything will always go well with you. I'd like to invite Cantor Rachel to please come up and join me so that we can offer this blessing to you on behalf of this entire community. May God bless you and protect you. May God go everywhere you go with you and always be good to you. God grant you, Brian and Emily, all the things that you have hoped and dreamed for, all the things that will make your marriage successful for so many years. We pray that God will grant you health and happiness, success in your endeavors, strong, positive relationships, and everything that you need to create for yourselves, for your family, and for all those around you, a lifetime filled with the great gift of peace. And everyone, please join me in saying, Amen. Mazel Tov. So about 15 or 16 years ago, my wife Rachel Ann and I were in Israel for my first year at Hebrew Union College, a Reform Movement seminary where they train rabbis, cantors, educators, Jewish professionals. Did I miss anything? I think it's a good list. PhD, yeah, okay. PhDs too. Lots of training. We were in Jerusalem for that year. And as part of the year, there's an opportunity to do things in the community, to learn different parts of Israel, what's happening there, and to get involved in the local community. So Rachel Ann actually took advantage of this wonderful opportunity to volunteer at an Ethiopian absorption center, which was just outside of Jerusalem in a little town called Mevaseret Zion. Maybe not that small, but a beautiful town in the hills outside of Jerusalem. And going there, we were walking in, and that's when we first were introduced to this incredible rabbi who was leading that community, Mevaseret Zion, the Reform synagogue there. And that synagogue was being led by Rabbi, or as she's affectionately known, Rav Maya Leibovich, who actually was the very first native Israeli woman to be ordained as a rabbi. First ever actual Israeli woman to be ordained as a rabbi, which even these days, in 2017, is a big deal. So, yes, not a small thing. Rav Maya, it turns out, after many years of serving that community and being a wonderful source of inspiration and leadership in Israel, has retired from that world, and for the last 4 summers has been working as the rabbi right here in Petoskey at Temple B'nai Israel. And so it is truly a joy and a pleasure for me to invite up Rav Maya to give us some words on this Shabbat. Rav Maya.
It's so joyful and pleasant here. You may think Shabbos is all about joy and fun and boating and water, and so Shabbos is also about study. So here it comes. I was sent from Jerusalem to bring you a Dvar Torah. Okay, we're in the portion Devarim, the first one of the book of Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy. So, exchange of leadership times are fascinating. Very often, not always, old experienced leaders are being replaced by a younger generation. People as a rule want change. Our portion Devarim highlights just such a transient moment in the history of the Israelites. Moses, the old leader of the desert time, is at the end of his way, about to die. Joshua, his young apprentice, is at a new beginning, about to take on the role of leadership. The people of Israel are out of the desert and on the verge of entering the promised land. At this moment, the words the old leader has to pass are most important. Indeed, Moses stands before the entire community and carries out his longest speech. Actually, the whole book of Devarim is his speech. The parasha, the portion begins, "These are the words which Moses spoke to all Israel on that side of the Jordan, in the desert, in the plain, opposite the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel and Lavan and Chatzerot and Dizahav." This is a strange beginning for a farewell speech. Instead of beginning immediately with what he has to say, Moses enumerates names of sites, of places, Paran and Tophel and Lavan and Chatzerot and Dizahav. Rashi, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzchaki, the most famous medieval French Torah commentator, explains that Moses enumerates here all the places where the Israelites anchored God. These are not places that bring to mind pleasant memories. In Rashi's eyes, these are words of rebuke. This is telling them not what they want to hear, but what the leader thinks is important for them to hear. A few questions arise. 1, is this the proper time for rebuke? Shouldn't the old leader encourage the people before the entry into the promised land? 2, the sins alluded to are the sins of the generation that died in the desert. Why mention them to their children, maybe their grandchildren? 3, Moses uses very harsh language. The Lord was angry with me because of you, saying, neither will you go there. This sounds more like a personal vendetta. Is this proper? 4, the parasha emphasizes that Moses speaks to all Israel. Shouldn't it have been a festive occasion of farewell? We already know that Moses will die before the Israelites cross the Jordan River, as he was told in the portion Pinchas in the book of Numbers, Bamidbar, which we read a few weeks ago. The Eternal One said to Moses, "Ascend this mountain of Avarim and view the land, for you shall not pass yonder." The name of the mountain in Hebrew is the two-sided mountain. While the Israelites will move to the other side, Moses will remain behind. Our sages tackled all these questions before us. In Devarim Rabbah, the Midrash, or the commentary on the book of Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy, we find the following. The rebukes which the Israelites received from Moses would seem to have been more appropriately given by Balaam. Balaam is that sorcerer or magician invited by Balak, the king of Moab, to curse the Israelites. And Balaam's blessings would, it seems, have been more fittingly uttered by Moses. But the admonition, if it had come from Balaam, would have had no effect upon the Israelites, who would naturally have concluded that they were the result of his animosity. If again Moses had spoken those blessings and words of praise that Balaam passed, others would have belittled them as emanating from the warm friendship of the warm-hearted Moses. But Moses' rebukes could not have failed to be laid to heart by the Israelites, coming from such a trite friend. And Balaam's blessings could by no means be construed by others as arising from partiality to the chosen people. Rebuke coming from a friend, someone who cares, will be influential. I remind you that rebuke is a mitzvah, a commandment. Reprove your kinsman. Hacheach tochiach et amitecha, says the Torah. In Tractate Avot, the Rabbi Natan, it's a version of the Saints of our Fathers, version 829, we find, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar used to say, love the one who rebukes you and hate the one who praises you, because the rebuke will ensure your entry into the next world, and the praise will get you out of this world. We read Moses' harsh words shortly before Tisha B'Av, the 9th of the month of Av, commemorating the destruction date of both temples in Jerusalem, which comes in Monday night. It reminds us to listen to words of rebuke, to check ourselves, and to improve our ways. He teaches us not to be tempted by sweet, pleasant words. Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, known as the Ramban, 13th century Sephardic scholar, had a creative way of looking at Moses' words. He explains that the rebuke is actually an encouragement. The Israelites deserved severe punishment, but God dealt with them compassionately. The Rambam also thinks that reminding them of the sins of their fathers will save their falling into the same pitfalls. Moses, according to this interpretation, feels such an empathy with his people that he pre-imagines the future and does his best to warn them and prepare them so that they will not suffer the calamities of the desert period. He encourages the Israelites to learn the lesson of history. Most leaders of modern world, all over the world, speak pleasant words to the ears. There is a new term, post-truth era, also called post-factual politics, which enables leaders to lie to their constituents. Honesty is not necessarily their best policy. They tell their people not what they truly think, but what they think their constituents want to hear. Blessed was the generation in the desert to have a great personality as Moses, who continuously spoke the truth, whose tactics was rebuke and reproach rather than flattery, appealing to the reason rather than to emotions. Moses is a model of great leader for many reasons. He was chosen by God to shepherd his people because of his compassion. He was a visionary, a brave statesman, a prophet, and a just judge. Our portion does not deal with leadership or with qualities of leadership, yet it reveals one quality not many leaders today exhibit. Honesty, teaches us the Bible, is the best policy. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you to Rav Maya for bringing some emet, some truth into this place, and for this comment that you made about what really captured me the most was this idea that a reproach or a rebuke can also be a moment of encouragement. As someone who needed some rebuking today in particular, you're inspiring me to mind that a little deeper and also find the encouragement and where I can really improve from that. So thank you so much for being part of this and for bringing your people with you for this beautiful night here in Charlotte. And we continue with our service with Aleinu, page 49. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teitkru l'aliyoseh breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo samchakenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol amonam, anachnu modim, u'mishtacharim modim, lifnei melech, malei hamakim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'ne'ema v'haya Adonai, lemelech hakol haaretz, hayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. We take a moment now, near the end of our service, to think about those members of our own families or communities whom we've lost in previous years, those people whose memories continue to sustain us in this life. And I'd like to ask if there's anyone here this evening who is remembering someone, observing a yortzeit, or has any loved one that you would like to remember, to please stand where you are. And as I look around, I'd ask you to call their name out loud so we can all hear it and join you in remembering them.
Melvin Rudnick.
My grandfather, Beth Peterman.
Is there anyone else I've missed?
My grandfather, Alfred Miller.
Holding each of them in our hearts, we turn together in our prayer books to page 54 and rise together for the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma Divrah Hirutei, Ve'amlich Malchutei, V'chayechon, V'yom Echon, V'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agalah, U'vizman Karid, V'yamru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam L'omei Omaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh. V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei D'Kudshah B'richu. Le'elam Yinkol Birchata V'shirata. Tushvachata V'nechemata. Tamiran V'alma V'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah Min Shemayah. V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael. V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'yimrumav. Yaseh Shalom. Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael. continue to bless us in our lives. And let's all together say, Amen. And to share a few quick words with us about this evening, I'd like to invite up Vice President of Temple Beth El and our next President, Liz Modell.
Hello, everybody. Wow, well, I didn't realize I'd be speaking tonight, or I might have worn something nicer, but anyway. For those of you who don't know me, again, my name is Liz Modell, and I am the Vice President of our wonderful Temple Beth El. And I wanted to tell you that we are so thankful to have all of you here on this magical night. Thank you for coming, and I want to thank a few people that put this all together. The Temple Beth El Director of Communications, Lindsay Fox Wagner. Program Director, Danielle Gordon. Executive Director, Kim Rasnick. Our musicians, Jim Gabriel and Carrie Komowitz. CJ, the sound guy with the amphitheater. And, hey, after the service, we're going to have a small Oneg Shabbat, so we'd love for people to stick around and get to know each other. And in addition, tomorrow morning, for those who are interested, Rabbi Miller will be right here at 8:30 in the morning for Lakeside Learning, which is going to be he's going to be discussing this week's Torah portion. 8:30 in the morning right here, and bringing some famous Avon donuts. Anyway, hope you guys are having a great evening. Shabbat Shalom, and if anyone wants to stick around, I'd love to meet everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Liz. Like she said, it took a lot for this evening to come together. We're so excited to be up here, so excited to share this evening with lots of friends, lots of family, and it's hopefully something that will turn into a tradition. We're going to hopefully make this something that happens every year. So we'll look forward to doing this again and again. Liz, thank you for sharing those things with people and letting everyone know that we have some upcoming events, sharing time afterwards, and tomorrow morning we hope you will consider joining us. In addition, before we end, I just want to mention that we do have a few special celebrity guests with us, and celebrities in the Jewish world are different than in some other worlds. It's not Kid Rock here tonight, I'm sorry, but I am very proud, first of all, to welcome some friends of ours who are rabbis vacationing in Michigan as they do every summer. Rabbi Justice Baird, who is the Dean at Auburn Theological Seminary in New York, and his wife, Rabbi Julie Roth, who is the Executive Director of Princeton Hillel, and their beautiful kids who are all with them. So we're excited for them to be here. We also are very lucky to have with us tonight, a special blessing, Hazan David Propus from the congregation Shar Zedek. He's trying to hide in his Texas hat, but I actually bought him that hat when we lived in Houston together, so it's great to see you here. I'm going to tell Rabbi Starr you were playing hooky tonight, but glad you were with us. Thank you. Also, not a rabbi, but we're very excited to have Scott Kaufman here, the director of our local federation. So Scott, thank you for being here and representing the community this wonderful evening. And lastly, very special treat for me personally as well as a lot of us here. We are blessed tonight to have Lisa and Rabbi Aaron Pankin here this evening. Rabbi Pankin is the president of Hebrew Union College, our Reform Movement Seminary in New York and Cincinnati and Los Angeles and Jerusalem. So he is someone who has a tremendous impact on our movement. He trains, as I said earlier, rabbis, cantors, educators, PhDs, communal service workers, so many of the people who turn into professionals and lead our Jewish community. So it's a wonderful honor that you two are here tonight in the midst of your vacation to Michigan. And I would like to invite Rabbi Hankin to please come up and join us as we prepare to conclude our service by turning back to page 56 in our prayer books so that he can lead us in our Shabbat evening Kiddush. Again, we're on page 56.
Please rise and join me. And by the way, had I known I was doing Kiddush, I would have dressed as nicely as Liz. That's all I would say. Shabbat Shalom. Page 56, please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh b'reishit Hu yom tefillah lemikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'yava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat L'chaim.
And finally, again, many people helped put this evening together. I'd like to recognize those early volunteers. Lindsay Fox-Wagner, who's there behind the camera, she put a huge amount of work into this evening and had a number of people who helped her from early on. So any who are here, I've been looking around, I can't be sure, but any who are here, this was sort of the beginnings of almost a committee, I would say, for tonight. So we'd like to invite you to come up and help us with our blessing over the challah. Patty Phillips, Richard and Harriet Shapak, Bruce and Karen Kazander, and the architect of this beautiful challah, which we're going to unwrap in a moment, but you'll see it is a beautiful challah, Sandy and Michael Hermanoff. And Sandy baked this one herself. Where did you go, Sandy? So if any of you could please come forward. We're all going to join together in the blessing over the challah, and we're blessing this so that you can have some of the food that's over there afterwards if you'd like. I don't know exactly what's there, but I do see pizza boxes and some other things. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Our closing song this evening, if you do need the words, is also on the inside of our guide. There are not a lot of words, but if you'd like them, they're there. It's in the middle. Hava Nashira. It's a beautiful way to end our Shabbat together. And again, we hope you've enjoyed. We hope you have a great rest of your evening. Please do sing with us, stay, chat, have a little food, and it's going to be a wonderful finale to our Shabbat evening. Again, Hava Nashira.
Hallelujah.
the gifts that we have, to please eat a little food over there and to share with all of our friends, and to have a wonderful week ahead. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone.